Senator Hunt, you're recognized to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today in opposition to LB415 and in opposition to, the process of trying to amend different things like the minimum wage bill onto it on this final round as a last-ditch effort to catch a ride off a moving train, you know what I'm saying? I really believe that our role as lawmakers is to uphold the will of the people, not override the will of the people. And many proponents of these efforts in the legislature to override the will of the people through the ballot measures that they passed overwhelmingly in Nebraska. Many proponents of these measures have stood up and pointed to examples where the legislature in the past has changed or altered what the ballot language said, talking about there's precedent for this, we're allowed to do this, it's legal. Yeah, it's legal, but I think that it is disrespectful to our constituents and to Nebraskans to take what they clearly passed, what they clearly understood, were able to read themselves on the ballot and make sense of, and totally change the meaning of it. When I think about the role of the legislature to maybe tweak or refine language or introduce a bill like this to change a couple things, I think that that would be appropriate if there was some kind of procedural reason to clarify something or have an exception for something so that it aligns with other statute and other aspects of current law. That's not what's happening with 415. That's not what's happening with paid sick leave or the minimum wage initiative. That's not what the legislature is doing. They're taking what the people said they wanted us to do and completely changing the policy. It's not a cleanup. It's not a fix. It's making it harder for workers to access what they voted for. That's not implementation, it's revision. And I think that we need to be honest about that and say, if you just want to revise it and say you want to change it completely, then say that. But that is not what the people voted for, and I think that's obstruction dressed up in technical language. And I also think that Nebraskans see that for what it is. I think this legislature is being, we're being watched by Nebraskans, and everything that we're doing here is being interpreted as against the will of the people. That's the overarching theme of this whole session. And I think that we should take that seriously and be ashamed of that. Nebraskans see it for what it is. We've all heard from constituents who are burned out, struggling, stretched thin, people who have no cushion, no wiggle room, people who are just one illness or emergency or missed paycheck away from falling through the cracks. And that's who these initiatives are designed to help. And those are the people who voted for these initiatives. And as Senator McKinney eloquently said, more people voted for these initiatives than voted for us. And now, after those very people did the hard work to make their voices heard, we're saying, actually, we know better than you do. And that's the pattern and practice throughout the entire legislature. Teachers deciding what their curriculum is going to be, what books they're going to have in their library, how they're going to run their sports teams, actually, we know better than you. Business owners, actually, we know better than you. On and on and on. I don't believe that. I don't believe that we know better than our constituents. And I don't believe that democracy should only count when it delivers outcomes that the 49 of us like. I should say that 33 of us like. 33 people should not decide the outcomes of 2 million Nebraskans' lives to the degree that we do, especially when they have already cast a vote for these ballot initiatives to tell us what it is that they want. This bill assumes that voters got it wrong, but I think voters got it right because I trust them. This bill assumes that voters were misled and didn't know what they were doing. I assume they were paying attention. I do think they understand. It assumes that the legislature has a better grasp on what's best for workers than workers do themselves. And I think that's a dangerous assumption and a dangerous precedent for 33 lawmakers to set for 2 million Nebraskans. And it's not just dangerous, it's insulting. It reinforces the cynicism that so many people in this state already feel about the work that we do, that no matter what they do, no matter how many signatures they collect or doors
your
they
time.
knock or voters show up, they're going to be ignored when power
Thank you,
decides to
Senator Hunt.
intervene. Thank you,
Senator
Mr. President.
Duncan, you're